Okay, welcome to Wickerson Studios. This is my oldest son, Oscar, who's awesome, and he's interested in this type of stuff too. We're looking at this third city, which we drew up at his age, well, a little older than him. It's called ACA. There's the flag, and Oscar, you see the shape of the flag? What I've done here is for each city, I'm going to go in here and stop the turntable. I'm going to generate this kind of walled city on a nice, it's a very simple script, but we're going to start with this very tiny script to start on how to build a flag. So let's get this out of here. The ACA flag is very simple to follow. I've got to activate it right here, and I will right click and I will hit enable, and the flag is right there in the center. And sometimes it's good to see the flag. The flag looks like that. If I go to top view, that's definitely what it is. And how I generated that geometry and made that is right here. So we're going to go into here, click this item, take off everything else so that stops bothering us, preview off. And here's our flag, and here's how we made it. It's one of the simplest flags we've made so far. Start with a rectangle right off the bat, and there it is. I guess I'll put this on so we can see it one at a time. I started with a rectangle, basically the same size. I found the center point. I found the edge points, vertices. I did a list item, and I collected 1, 2, 3 endpoints. This one, and this one, along with the center, and I joined them with lines, and that was it. And I left out 2. Then I just simply merged them. I threw them in a pipe, and we had the flag of, and if you click this, it'll send you back over to your document right there. That's the flag of ACA, a good nil little village for rebels and bandits and monsters. So that's pretty cool. So that's a nice little script, and I hope Oscar can figure out how to do stuff like that because he's pretty good at Scratch and knows how to do everything. So we're going to go into the script for what is what does this town look like? And here it is, and I'm going to put it back into shaded. We're going to center it over here, and here's how I made these geometries. Oh my gosh, there they are, and put them on the ground. Parametric kind of structure of how you can make a walled city with little entrance ways to go in, play with different heights of the walls and thicknesses, and come up with some simple geometries that you can bake into Rhino. Does that make sense, Oscar? Yeah. Okay, so we've got a few minutes left because we're going really fast. What I have here is I'll grab all my number sliders and I'll center them and space them. And we have a surface that I brought in. And that surface is actually a plane. It's not a surface, it's just a base plane to start. And in doing so, I made a pentagon. But when I made my pentagon, I made a range of pentagons in radius and in segments. So we have a variety that plays off the same number that has to have a -1 because of the steps in the range. I have a triangle, a square, another square, and then a 5-sided object. And I'm not sure why. Oh, the square comes from the other shape as well. That said, those are the pieces that are going to make up the towers around the building. I also have another polygon, which is here, and I have taken that polygon and divided points on there. So I can change the count of how many points I want on that polygon. And wherever I make a point on that polygon, I can center, I can jitter and send and orient all these shapes. So look at that nice town. That's a pretty cool town. Now, if that's the geometry for the town, what happens when I trim with regions? I'm actually getting some information out of there that I'm ending up with a curve system that I can explode those curves, which opens them up off of what was inside and outside of the Trim with Regions tool, which allows me gateways and doorways where I can put portcullis and doors. I know this is hard to follow, Oscar. I have a point in the middle, and what I did was I took the vector from those vertices that were exploded from those points, and I moved with an amplitude those walls away. So now I have control over the walls. Look at that. I can change the thickness of the walls and the distance of the walls. And look at that cool geometry if I leave that on while I go back here and change a simple number like how many counts went around it, how many points were on that outer curve. If I made it so there was just one, it'd be a pretty simple wall. Actually, I don't even know if anything would come up for 1. So I liked 4. It looked pretty good. There's 3. And you can set your number sliders to odds and evens. Like you can go into here and say I only want even numbers or odd numbers and see if that has an effect on keeping geometry similar, say if you wanted an outer wall or inner wall. All right, so here we go. We've moved that geometry. What I'm going to do is grab a list length, and I'm going to extrude that. After lofting it, I'm going to extrude it up into another direction, and there it is. I've got this really cool geometry that's worth baking. And if I took it in the bake, you'd see that. But instead, I did that one. What happens if I get down and play with these numbers? What happens if I reduce this number here, which is the domain end, it's definitely the height. So I've got a shorter wall. And if I bring this right down, the walls really start to thin and make some interiors. But what a wonderful way to think of like making a keep or an entranceway. Look at that. So we drew on this little graph drawing a little outline, so simple, and blew some holes, and we have all the structures. But right now we can use this as a base. And I think what I'll end up doing is I'm going to start blowing holes out and putting in gates and portcullises. And then all I did was add my other favorite script at the bottom, which generates 3 planes. And those 3 planes are generated, so when I look at those with the object in it, take it off, and I'm probably going to have to hit preview on. Oh, we'll get shared screen. See how the screen's over here? I can jump over this screen back to here, Oscar. Do you like that? And then this one's not on preview, so I have to go back in and I have to select that one, hit preview. And there we go. We got a pretty cool fort that you can take and you can bake. It would be cool to make characters. I was going to leave it up to you to make people and have them of all different shapes and sizes. I thought that would be super cool. There's our building. And let's take this and take a bake and put that on the layer 4. And there we go. And now we've got, now you'll see with this, I've got multiple, I grouped it. So I've actually got 3 planes here under 3 equations. And that's why I love this, is I use 3 MD sliders to go through this equation to make a really cool sine surface. And it does slow the render down. But imagine that castle right there, Oscar. And we're going to go zoom in there and see what's going on. And so let's take it over to rendered. There it is. Pretty cool, eh? And we can pop this on here. Look at that. And we Candyland. That's good. And look at the ray trace. Boom. It's like a snow. But I also like, just for a quick pen drawing, can you imagine trying to draw this drawing on a piece of paper, Oscar? It takes a look. Look at that. It'll take a while to draw, but look at how many times I can draw it and make it parametric as we scan through it. And then also, I'm going to send it into artistic if I wanted a little artistic drawing. Isn't that cool? And you know, Oscar, we can hit Control-Shift and grab that side and be like, I like that polygon, but I think that wall should come out a little bit here. And I just changed my geometry by hand. So what a tool to get the world going on. And we are at 7 minutes. What do you want to say, Oscar? Super cool. Dad rules. Turntable.
You're going to search up Dad rules.
And look, and watch the world. Whirlwind. Oh.